movie junkies, welcome back to Twin Flicks, where we're here celebrating the magic of movies and physical media with you. So we're traveling back a few years ago in 2015. Warner Brothers has released one of my top 3 favorite, all-time favorite Hitchcock film on Blu-ray, and that is North by Northwest on a standard Blu-ray and also this awesome digital book, which is great. And the film was restored in 4K from the original 8-perf 35mm VistaVision camera negative in 6.5K. And this was absolutely the best the film has ever looked and reproduced on home media. And I never thought this film could look any better than it does right here on this Blu-ray. Until now. Celebrating its 65th anniversary, Warner Brothers went back to the native 4K DI, remastered it for this 4K UHD presentation, and this does come at us with HDR10, no Dolby Vision on this one, and also an updated Dolby Atmos mix, which in one particular scene is a little disturbing what happens. It caught me off guard, I'll say that, so stay tuned for that in my audio review. So now the question is, with this 4K UHD of North by Northwest that was sourced from the same 4K scan that the Blu-ray used in 2015, how much of a difference is there really? Especially for a movie that's almost 70 years old. Is there really much of a difference between the two? Well, that's what we're going to find out, so let's take a closer look at North by Northwest against the previous release Blu-ray and this new 4K UHD presentation. Well, the results is an absolute gorgeous 4K UHD presentation that's really jaw-dropping at times. The 4K scan and HDR10 grading breathes whole new life into the film, opening up the color gamut wider than what we had on the Blu-ray. You can tell a lot of love and care was really poured into this 4K UHD transfer. Now, one of the first things that I noticed right away with this UHD presentation is with all the rear projection and opticals. Sometimes, as we know, with a higher resolution, these can stick out like a sore thumb if not handled right. But this one is handled perfectly and translate extremely well under the higher resolution. A good example is the iconic crop duster sequence that uses a blend of on-location footage and also on-set studio footage. The use of HDR10 and the UHD really helps with these shots look nearly flawless. Of course, you're still aware what's shot on set and on location, but the scene works so well now where the rear projection and opticals are much more blended and better. Another reference point is the famous Mount Rushmore chase that I will get into more in a moment under my detail review. The 4K UHD also has excellent looking color palette with the help from HDR10 grading that reproduces the VistaVision color design as close as it can. Colors are very bold, bright, very attractive looking and vibrant that really pops off the screen, especially with reds and yellows that really ignite the screen and look very energetic, while colors still also maintain its natural organic appearance based off the original source material. Saturation and contrast are on point here with this UHD without colors looking artificially boosted or hot. The saturation helps especially with skin tones looking nicely tan and healthy, and contrast also helps with daylight scenes now looking naturally bright, while on the Blu-ray I did notice some overexposure on some daylight scenes. The black levels are enhanced with the HDR10 grading, giving even stronger and healthier looking black levels, which also gives more depth and pulls out more information in the image. And night scenes look more accurately displayed now. The Blu-ray, honestly, I did not see an issue with the black levels. It looks great as well, but the 4K UHD definitely enhances with deeper, truer looking black levels. Their overall image quality on this UHD is as sharp as it can be with excellent clarity and definition that the Blu-ray just pales in comparison. Finer details and textures look remarkable with a much higher level of visible detail and clarity. I did notice there are still some close-up shots that are intentionally softer than other shots, but it's just inherited from the negative. It was baked into the negative and not a problem with the transfer. And they did the best they could with these shots. There is some excellent reference points here with the image quality. From the internet weave patterns of suits and ties and dresses, wallpaper in rooms, and going back to the Mount Rushmore sequence. Holy crap! I've never seen these shots look this excellent before, where every minute little detail and texture is distinguishable, even to the point where you're able to make out hairline seams and imperfections in rocks. but mostly all the textured lines across the nose and faces of the presidents. I've honestly never seen this before, not even on the Blu-ray. Honestly, it felt like I was watching the film for the first time. Backgrounds also stay consistently sharp and clear, where the image lovingly showcases the rich production design and beautiful cinematography in full, filling the 1.85:1 frame. The bit rate ranges between the high 70s, and I saw it peak out around 104 Mbps. The grain structure is a beautiful, natural 35mm filmic appearance. Honestly, the image quality on this UHD is just astonishing what Warner Brothers has done here, preserving this classic film for future generations. Alright guys, now let's dive into the audio presentation. And as I said at the top of this video, the North by Northwest 4K UHD also gets an update on its audio to a new Dolby Atmos mix. And I've had a few people ask me, what's the point of having an Atmos track for a movie that's nearly 70 years old? Is there really a point to it? Well, now all I can say is listen to this track and you'll find out for yourself why North by Northwest was given the Atmos mix treatment. This Atmos track delivers a phenomenal audio experience. However, I do have one gripe, as I mentioned at the top of this video. And as we all know, Warner Brothers just loves to add in new modern sound effects that are sprinkled throughout their new Dolby Atmos mixes. And it also happened here. The good news is it's not plastered throughout or as aggressively apparent as other Atmos tracks are, except for one scene. This is during Gary Grant's drunken drive. There's a constant deep hum that sounds like it was meant to be the car engine, but instead, it honestly sounded more like there was a problem with my speakers, which was very alarming at the moment. It was very concerning. I was trying to figure out why my speakers are having this deep hum until I realized what was really happening. But that was really the most egregious area of this Atmos track. Other than that, I didn't find any issues with it. And it is just one brief scene, so I wouldn't say it's a deal breaker, but it is something to definitely keep in mind during that scene when you hear it. Outside of that, the overall Atmos track does carry a very pleasing three-dimensional experience that perfectly expands on Bernard Herrmann's iconic score that really fills the listening area in full. We can hear instruments move between the channels with a much wider frequency response now. Now the high channels are sparingly used. It is used for the score. That is until the crop duster sequence that comes rolling in with some very nice movement all the way around the listening area. You can hear the crop duster fly from the rear channels to the front or the front channels to the rear, and also overhead that carries some really nice depth and weight to it. The minimal explosions in the film also carry some nice heft and weight to it with the bass levels. Dialogue is also rendered nicely, sounding crisp and clear. This Atmos track is definitely worth the upgrade. Alright guys, so my score for Warner Brothers 4K UHD presentation of North by Northwest, I'm giving this one high marks of a 5 out of 5 for video and audio. This one is definitely worth upgrading from your previous Blu-ray, or if you don't already own it, pick it up and add it to your collection. Alright guys, well head over to the comments section and let me know when you look at the differences here between the Blu-ray and the new 4K UHD, which do you think looks better? Or do you see much difference at all? Head over to the comments section and let me know. As always guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me for a few minutes here as we talk about North by Northwest on 4K UHD and comparing it to the previous release Blu-ray. Get that thing out of here. As always, keep physical media alive, and we'll see you next time with another 4K versus Blu-ray comparison.